Have you ever wondered if you are really in control of your life? The truth is, most of the time, it's not you making the decisions. It's your automatic mind. But what if there was a method to break that cycle and take full control? Today, I'll reveal a science-backed secret that can change the way you think forever. Stay with me, because what you are about to discover could be the first step towards your true transformation. The human mind is a fascinating mechanism designed to save energy and adapt to the environment. One of its most ingenious strategies is to automate tasks and decisions, allowing us to respond quickly to everyday stimuli. This automatic system was key to our survival for millennia, helping us react to immediate or repeated dangers. However, in today's world, where we no longer face predators and constant threats, this ability can turn against us. Autopilot, which once guaranteed life, can now trap us in cycles of repetitive thoughts, thoughtless decisions, and habits that do not benefit us. Have you noticed that many of the things you do daily you repeat without even asking yourself why? From how you react to a comment to how you handle stress, everything can become a pattern that limits your freedom of choice. The problem is that this automatic state disconnects us from conscious life. Many people do not stop to reflect on their actions. They simply carry them out because it has always been that way. It is as if your mind has programmed predefined responses for each situation, based on past experiences and external conditioning. This pattern can perpetuate negative attitudes, such as underestimating yourself on a project, avoiding challenges out of fear of failure, or even staying in unhealthy relationships. Worse yet, autopilot can make you feel trapped, like you're not in control of your decisions. But here's the truth. Although these patterns are powerful, they are not unbreakable. It all begins with a moment of awareness, a moment in which you decide to observe your thoughts and actions instead of letting them flow without questioning them. Taking back control means interrupting this automatic cycle and creating a new relationship with your mind. This is where the practice of self-awareness comes into play. Something as simple as stopping for a few seconds to breathe deeply can be the first step in getting off autopilot. Mindful breathing not only calms your nervous system, it also activates the most rational part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, allowing you to make more conscious decisions. When you introduce moments of intentional pause into your day, you create space between the stimulus and your response. In that space, you have the opportunity to choose how to react instead of letting habit decide for you. Every time you consciously choose a positive thought over a negative one, or a proactive action instead of a reactive one, you are building a new mental path. But this doesn't happen overnight. The key to overcoming autopilot is to practice self-awareness consistently and deliberately. It is not about eliminating all automatisms, since many of them are necessary for our daily lives, but about identifying which ones are sabotaging your personal growth. Imagine that you are observing your mind as if it were a river. You don't need to stop the entire flow. Just recognize which currents are taking you to unwanted places. Every time you stop and redirect your energy toward thoughts and actions aligned with your goals, you are reclaiming your power. Over time, this conscious effort becomes your new way of living, and you stop being a passive spectator of your life and become the active protagonist of your story. Excellent, member of Dark Creators. I will continue with subtitle 2 in the same style of wide and deep paragraphs. Here it goes. 2. The decisive moment. How a single moment of pause can transform your perspective. We live in a world that advances at a dizzying pace, where the value of productivity has surpassed the importance of personal well-being. In this constant race, we get used to acting without stopping, as if every second of inactivity were a waste. However, this perpetual frenzy comes at a price. It disconnects us from our emotions, clouds our ability to reflect, and pushes us to react impulsively to challenges. Herein lies the power of a conscious pause, a brief moment in which you can stop the whirlwind of automatic thoughts, reconnect with the present, and regain control of your mind. Although it may seem insignificant, that moment of calm can be the difference between perpetuating a negative cycle or taking a radical turn towards a more conscious and effective solution. When you take a moment to pause, you're giving your brain a chance to readjust. In stressful situations, the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for emotional reactions, often takes control, triggering automatic responses that are often guided by fear or frustration. However, By stopping for a few seconds and focusing your attention on something as simple as your breathing, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the region that regulates logical thinking, decision-making, and self-control. This small act of pausing may seem trivial, but it is actually a mental reset that allows you to evaluate the situation more clearly and respond in a way that is more aligned with your goals. Incorporating conscious pauses into your daily life does not require big changes or an excessive investment of time. It all starts with an intentional act, stopping. It can be a simple exercise of 3 deep breaths before replying to a message, or a few seconds to observe your thoughts before reacting to a conflict. These small moments create an internal space that allows you to step out of the reactive state and choose how to respond. Imagine facing a heated argument with someone. Instead of responding impulsively and making the situation worse, a pause gives you a chance to process your emotions and respond calmly. This change not only improves your relationships, but also reduces your stress level and increases your ability to find creative solutions. Over time, this habit of pausing becomes a transformative tool that impacts every aspect of your life. You are no longer at the mercy of your automatic reactions or external pressures. Instead, you become the architect of your responses and therefore your reality. The most amazing thing about this practice is that its effect is multiplied with repetition. Every time you choose to pause instead of reacting automatically, you are training your brain to act from awareness instead of inertia. This small act, which only takes a few seconds, can completely change the way you face challenges and opens the door to a future where calm and intention guide your decisions. 3. Secrets of the flexible brain. Train your mind like a muscle. For centuries, it was believed that the human brain was static, that once we reached maturity, our mental abilities and thought patterns were fixed forever. This belief perpetuated the idea that some are simply born with exceptional talents, while others are condemned to accept their limitations. However, modern science has revolutionized this view with the discovery of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, adapt, and remodel itself throughout life. Every thought, action, or experience you have leaves a physical imprint in your brain, forming or strengthening neural connections. This means that you are not stuck in old patterns. You have the ability to train your mind, just like a muscle, to develop new skills, overcome blocks, and transform the way you see the world. Neuroplasticity works like a system of pathways in constant construction. Repeated thoughts and behaviors act as workers paving neural pathways, strengthening certain connections while others weaken from disuse. If you spend a lot of your time worrying or repeating negative thoughts, you are reinforcing those pathways and making it easier to return to them in the future. But here's the powerful thing. Every time you choose a different thought, you are creating a new path. At first, this new path will be weak, like a trail in the middle of a dense forest. But with time and repetition, it becomes a mental highway that replaces old patterns. This process requires intention and consistency, but it is the key to rewriting the habits and beliefs that have defined your life until now. To train your mind like a muscle, you need 3 key elements: practice, patience, and persistence. The practice involves choosing activities that stimulate brain plasticity, such as learning a new skill, solving creative problems, or simply changing your daily routine. For example, if you always take the same route to work, try varying your route. If you react impatiently to a problem, make a conscious effort to respond calmly. These small changes, although they may seem insignificant, activate new areas of your brain and train it to adapt to new circumstances. Patience is crucial because the results are not immediate. Just like in the gym, you can't expect to see drastic changes overnight, but every effort you make contributes to progress. Neuroplasticity not only transforms the way you think, it also affects how you feel and how you act in the world. As you strengthen neural pathways associated with optimism, gratitude, and problem solving, you begin to experience a sense of greater control over your life. What once seemed impossible now becomes a manageable challenge. What was once a negative habit is now replaced by a positive one. And most importantly, you begin to understand that your brain is not a rigid machine, but a living organ that responds to your intentions and efforts. This revelation not only empowers you, but gives you the tools necessary to build the life you have always wanted. one thought, one change, and one action at a time. If you believe in the power of your mind to transform your life and are ready to take control of your destiny, write in the comments, "I am the protagonist of my story." This is not just an affirmation. It is the first step to show that you are committed to your transformation. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. Every week we share content designed to unlock your true potential and help you achieve the life you've always dreamed of. Your next big transformation starts right now. 4. Tune into your emotions. The power hidden in every feeling. Emotions are more than just reactions. They are guidance systems that help you navigate through life. Every emotion you experience, from joy to fear, carries with it a message and a learning opportunity. However, we often ignore them or try to repress them, especially the negative ones, without understanding that they all have a valuable purpose. Feelings like sadness can invite you to reflect and heal, while fear, if managed wisely, can become a driver for courageous action. Learning to tune into your emotions does not mean letting them control you, but rather understanding them, interpreting them, and using them as tools of transformation. The impact of emotions on your mind and body is profound. When you experience joy or gratitude, your brain releases neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, creating a mental environment that encourages creativity and clarity. On the other hand, emotions like anger or anxiety trigger stress hormones that can cloud your judgment and perpetuate negative thoughts. The key is not to reject any emotion, but to observe it from a place of awareness. Ask yourself, what is this emotion telling me? What do I need to adjust in my life to respond to this message? This simple act of observation can transform a difficult emotional experience into an opportunity to grow. By consciously connecting with your emotions, you are also training your brain to manage them more effectively. For example, by intentionally feeling gratitude, you reinforce neural connections that support an optimistic and resilient outlook. This not only improves your mental state, but also impacts your physical health, reducing the negative effects of chronic stress. Positive and negative emotions can coexist, and learning to balance them is essential to achieve a state of authentic well-being. It is not about eliminating suffering, but about learning to navigate it with wisdom and purpose. When you adopt this attitude, your emotions become powerful allies instead of obstacles. You are no longer trapped by automatic reactions. Instead, you respond to each situation from a place of intention and calm. This change doesn't happen overnight, but every time you choose to observe and manage your emotions instead of ignoring or fearing them, you are building a path toward a more balanced life. Recognizing this power hidden in every feeling is the first step to using your emotions as a compass toward your highest potential. 5. Hidden truths that you believed for years and how to dismantle them. From the time we are children, we begin to absorb beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. Many of these beliefs, transmitted by our parents, teachers, or society, stay with us as absolute truths. But have you ever stopped to question them? Ideas like, "I'm not good enough," "I'm not talented," or "success is only for others," are mental constructs, not immutable realities. These limiting beliefs, although invisible, can shape every decision you make, restricting your potential and determining how far you think you can go. The first step to breaking down these barriers is to identify them. This requires introspection and honesty, as many of these beliefs are so ingrained that we are not even aware of them. An effective way to do this is to pay attention to your automatic thoughts, especially when you face challenges. For example, if something seems impossible to you, ask yourself, where does this idea come from? Is it really true, or is it just an assumption that I have accepted without question? This exercise of self-observation is the beginning of liberation. The more you investigate the origin of your beliefs, the clearer it becomes that many of them are not yours, but cultural or family inheritances that you can choose to let go. Dismantling limiting beliefs does not simply mean denying them, but replacing them with more empowering narratives. For example, instead of saying, "I'm not good at this," you can rephrase it as, "I'm still learning, and I'm getting a little better every day." This small change in language has a huge impact on your mind, opening the door to new possibilities. Neuroplasticity plays a key role here. By repeatedly practicing positive thoughts and affirmations, you are strengthening the neural pathways that support self-confidence and weakening those that perpetuate self-doubt. Over time, this conscious work transforms not only how you think, but also how you act and feel. You realize that the barriers you thought were insurmountable were nothing more than mirages created by your mind. By breaking these mental chains, you regain the freedom to dream big and act without fear. Limiting beliefs lose their power when you decide to face them and rewrite your story from a perspective of unlimited possibilities. 6. Create tomorrow with images. Visualize, plan, conquer. Visualization is a powerful tool that connects your dreams to reality. Imagine for a moment that your thoughts are like an architectural plan. Everything you visualize with clarity and emotion becomes the basis for building your future. Science has shown that when you visualize a target in detail, you activate the same areas of the brain that are used when experiencing that situation in real life. This mental rehearsal not only boosts your confidence, but also trains your mind to recognize opportunities that bring you closer to your goals. However, visualizing is not just about imagining, but about feeling and acting accordingly. The process begins by closing your eyes and creating a clear image of what you want. But it is not enough to see the final result. You also need to imagine the steps needed to get there. For example, if you dream of starting a successful business, visualize not only success, but also the daily actions that will lead you to achieve it. Meetings, learning, constant work. This practical approach helps you create a mental map that guides your actions, increasing the likelihood that you make decisions aligned with your vision. Additionally, visualization works as an emotional amplifier. By imagining what it feels like to achieve your goals, joy, pride, gratitude, you are sending positive signals to your brain that reinforce those neural connections. These emotions not only strengthen your motivation, but also create a mental environment conducive to success. Remember that your brain does not distinguish between real and visualized experience. Both have a tangible impact on the way you think and act. Therefore, visualizing with emotion and detail is key to obtaining results. The magic of visualization is not that it magically turns dreams into reality, but that it transforms your perception and behavior. Every time you imagine a goal clearly, you are training your mind to look for opportunities, overcome obstacles, and maintain focus. This exercise, when combined with consistent actions, can change your life. The question is not if it works, but if you are willing to dedicate a few minutes a day to create the future you want in your mind. 7. Build the mental revolution in 1 minute a day. When we think about personal transformation, we usually imagine drastic changes or long and complex processes. However, the biggest revolutions start with small steps. Creating meaningful change in your life doesn't require hours of daily dedication, but rather a constant, conscious focus on getting a little better every day. This is where micro-habits come in, small, intentional actions that, over time, generate monumental results. The key is not in the magnitude of the effort, but in perseverance. With just 1 minute a day, you can plant the seeds of a mental revolution that completely transforms the way you think, feel, and act. The power of micro-habits lies in their simplicity. For example, spending 60 seconds a day writing a positive affirmation, practicing deep breathing, or reflecting on an accomplishment allows you to focus your mind on what really matters. These small acts send a signal to your brain that you are committed to change, reinforcing neural connections that promote personal growth. Although 1 minute may seem insignificant, its impact accumulates over time. Day after day, you're building a solid foundation that will help you tackle bigger challenges with greater clarity and confidence. Science supports this approach. Studies show that small, repeated actions are more effective in establishing new habits than intense but sporadic efforts. This is because our brain responds better to consistent repetition than extreme changes. That's why starting with something as simple as 1 minute a day is a winning strategy. As this habit becomes integrated into your routine, you'll likely feel the natural urge to expand it, going from 1 minute to 5, then 10, and eventually a deeper commitment to your personal development. The mental revolution does not happen overnight, but it does not require enormous sacrifices either. It all starts with a decision. Dedicate a moment daily to yourself, your well-being, and your goals. That minute, which seems so small, has the power to change your life if you take advantage of it with intention. In the end, it's not the amount of time that matters, but the quality and consistency of your effort. Big changes are made up of small moments of action, and the best time to start is now. 8. The big choice. Be a spectator or protagonist of your life. Life is full of choices, but few are as important as this one. Will you decide to be a spectator of your circumstances or the active protagonist of your story? Many people spend their days reacting to what happens to them, trapped in automatic patterns or beliefs that make them feel powerless. But what they may not know is that, at any moment, they can take control and rewrite their narrative. No matter how complicated your past is or how many challenges you face in the present, transformation begins the moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life. Being a protagonist does not mean that everything will be easy or that you will always have absolute control of external circumstances. Rather, it means recognizing that although you can't choose what happens to you, you can always decide how to respond. This is a powerful truth. You have the power to interpret the events in your life, to give them meaning that strengthens you instead of weakening you. By consciously choosing your thoughts and actions, you free yourself from the role of victim and become the author of your destiny. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is an opportunity to move towards the life you want. Assuming this role requires courage, because it involves facing your fears, your excuses, and the limitations you have imposed on yourself. But it's also deeply liberating, because it gives you the power to transform even the most difficult circumstances into opportunities for growth. For example, failure can be seen as a sign that you are not capable, or as a lesson that brings you closer to your goal. The choice is yours. This shift in perspective doesn't happen immediately, but every time you choose to act with intention and purpose, you are strengthening your ability to lead your life. In the end, the question is simple but powerful. What story do you want to tell about your life? Bystander may seem easier at first, but over time it leads to regret and dissatisfaction. Being a protagonist, on the other hand, challenges you to grow, to dream big, and to pursue your goals with determination. You don't need to have all the answers right now. All you need is to take the first step and commit to yourself. The decision is in your hands, and every moment is an opportunity to start again.